Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, the last video about the prices in Pattaya was a tremendous success. It was 25,000 views within like a day, 2 days, day and a half, something like that. So it was focused particularly on the dancing bars and an LK Metro and the street where you walk and all that, intentionally, because I wanted you guys to be aware of the high cost of things like that as they are now in Pattaya. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go through a bunch of costs, but lower costs that are quite affordable, and what to stay away from and what is acceptable price wise. While we're doing that, we'll just have a little walk along Dongtan Beach down toward Jomtien. It's a nice view, so it'll be something nice to look at while we're chatting. So there are several things, I've mentioned them before, about what you avoid. Now, you know what to avoid now from the last video, like the dancing bars. So what's your alternative? I mean, you've got beer bars, obviously, but the quality of what you're looking for in the beer bars is not terribly high these days, is it? It tends to be sort of grandmothers. Not quite, but you know what I mean. It's not anything like it used to be years ago. So that, to a lot of guys, is acceptable. They don't mind, you know. But if you want a little bit better quality, and you don't want to go spending silly money in dancing bars, then the choices which I'll give you straight away, I'll just mention them, are obviously gents clubs, which we'll go through in a minute, and then Soi 6, which I think is excellent value, Soi Pothole, excellent value. Certain places on Soi Picao, but not other ones. There are very well-known places that are packed with talent, which are equally as much of a rip-off, in my opinion, as the dancing bars. I mean, really, you know, like you're talking about 1,500 baht bar fine for a beer bar, you know. That sort of figure you'll find on Bacau. I mean, other parts of Bacau you won't. You have to really look and be careful. Ask. You always have to ask. That's a major factor before you get involved, you know. Ask about how much lady drinks are. Ask about if the one you're interested in bar finds, because an awful lot don't these days. And just check the prices. You know, if it's silly prices, then walk away. But there are a lot of places where it's not so bad. One of my personal favourites really is gents clubs. It really is, and places that are half and half, sort of hybrid. You can call them hybrid gents club if you like, because it's a dancing bar, gents club, or a gents club with dancing, sort of table dancing, you know, pole dancing, table dancing, often without poles, but table dancing. You get that in certain gents clubs. There's a couple I can think of, 2 or 3 I can think of straight away, where you get that, and they're very good because they have a very high quality of staff, but the prices are really quite reasonable compared to proper dancing bars down in LK and down near Beach Road, you know. So obviously there are other types of gents clubs which are more traditional. So the ones I just mentioned tend to open later. They sort of tend to open 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, that sort of time, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. They open later, the ones I've just mentioned. But the more traditional style of gents club, where it's much cheaper again, that is sort of, they open at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And there's a whole bunch of those. I mean, there's a lot more now than there used to be. In fact, some places have what they call pussy wagons, where you get a bunch of guys, get a couple of trucks, small trucks, and they go from bar to bar to bar, and they go wandering around all the 4 or 5 different bars, which is great fun. It really is good fun. That's highly recommended. Great fun. And you meet people. You meet other people who you may befriend, you know. So that's one aspect of it. And the prices. I mean, you're 150 baht sort of figure for a lady drink. Now, if you remember what I said before, when we're talking about dancing bars in LK and on the street where you walk, that was 240. Some were 250, so it's 100 baht more every lady drink. Some are down to 220, but generally they're all well over 200. Now you don't get that in gents clubs. You just don't. They're around 100. Some are actually lower than that. There are some I've come across where they're about 120 or 130. You know, that sort of figure. So also the other major factor from my point of view is that they have on-site facilities. In the form of curtains or rooms to have on-site facilities, and that saves you a fortune. I mean, if you live too far away or you aren't able, I nearly said allowed, but able to take a girl back, then you may want to use the on-site facilities, and that is the beauty of gents clubs. Now, that was why they were originally invented, if you think about it, because of that, because of guys who've got like wives, regular girlfriends, and what have you, and go playing golf quite often. But funny enough, the golf never improves. I wonder why. And that's what they're aimed at originally. They were aimed at expats, but since that things have developed and they've become more and more like a sort of a mix between a dancing bar to a degree and a gents club. I mean, obviously there are some like on Soy Excite, for example, and then up on the top of on Third Road, and there's quite a few, and some also down on Soy Bonka, which are really traditional. And they're really, you know, they're not in the same sort of category, if you like, as the more recent ones which have opened up, which are opening later, and which also, as I say, have ladies dancing. That is I personally like those. I think they're great. I mean, I love the afternoon ones. I think they're great because the prices are very low. So that's one major thing, which is gents clubs. I do think that you really need to go there, because if you come over here, forget about going to the places where, you know, the Oriental guys go, who've got a 5-hour flight away and they come every weekend. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. You can't compete with that when you've got a 20 or 18 to 24-hour flight, or a couple of flights or more, and they've got one flight, you know, from Tokyo or Seoul or something, and it's like a 5 or 6 hour flight, and they come at weekends, and they come for long weekends and stuff like that, and they've got a whole bunch of money, and they just throw it around, which I understand. I mean, they're lucky they happen to be nearby. I suppose Americans could say, well, they can go down to South America and what have you. Yes, of course you can. I mean, the Europeans, Brits and things, they can go to the FKK clubs in Hamburg and places. It's all the choice of what you want. I mean, I didn't mean to scare you guys off when I was with the last video telling you the prices. I just wanted you to know. But that is not the only option. That's the option, as I say, that a lot of the Asian guys like to take. It's straight to the point, but it costs a fortune. Now, as far as more Western guys are concerned, like, you know, Americans, Australians, or Europeans, maybe we don't want to do that. You know, as I say, try the dance clubs. There are a lot of them now. There are many more than these used to be. There are new ones springing up. I mean, you know, that's an option. Now, your other option for something less expensive is Soy 6. Now, if you had a look at the Patreon videos, I mean, you may not be a member, but you can still see the first three, about a minute or so on each video, if you just click and go down, look, doesn't cost you a single penny, nothing. You just click and go and then look at each video, and you can watch the first, I think it's a minute or so, for free. You don't join. And just look at them, because I deliberately put some of the best bits at the very beginning so people can get an idea of what the video is about. But that's Soy 6, and in my opinion it's tremendous value. It always has been in it, and it still is now. There are lots of very, very nice young girls there. The places are good, they're not too expensive, it's on-site facilities. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, some guys have complained to me in the comments or by email, saying, oh, that they're asking 1,500 baht for a bar fine in Soy 6. I said, yes, because that's not what it's about. You never bar fine in Soy 6. Forget it. That's not how you deal with it. You have to deal with certain places different ways. Do not bar fine in Soy 6. It's not for that. It's for on-site, okay? Short time only. That's what it's for. But if you go to, again, the same thing with Soy Pothole, that also is the same. They're very, very nice people working in Soy Pothole, nice bars and very good prices. Some of the beer prices are some of the lowest in Pattaya on Pothole. I mean, I've seen, I know certain bars with staff, with nice staff, are doing like, what is it, 59 baht or something for local beers, Thai beers. I mean, that's very cheap. That's cheaper than, or as cheap as New Plaza, you know what I mean? So things like that you can do, you can go to, which are a very good value. So don't get put off by my last video, please, because it was intended to warn you. This is intended to inform you a little more about places like Soy 6, places like Soy Pothole. I mean, there's also Jomtien. That is much cheaper, like Soy 7 and Jomtien. The beers there are very cheap, and the staff as well. So, I mean, there are a few places beginning to open, like gents clubs, over on the dark side. And again, because it's never so busy, you can negotiate the prices down in those places. There's a couple I know straight away. One's already open, one's going to open soon. And they're gents clubs on the dark side, and there are other ones too. If you really want to be careful with your money, if you want to keep the prices down, then there are places you can go where you get nice stuff. Okay, not like 10s or 9s, but certainly okay. In these places, I mean, the other possibility, which many guys do, is the dating apps, like Thai Friendly and things like that. I mean, if you like it, I mean, I personally find it doesn't suit me personally, because I prefer to spend time chatting and everything and getting to know someone. I much prefer that. In fact, I often don't bother first, second, third time. It will be later. It will be a third, fourth, fifth time. But that's because I live here, so I have the time. I mean, obviously, if you're coming on holiday, you can't do that. But because I live here, I have all the time in the world. So with regard to going places, so I'll go a place and meet somebody. I'll go maybe a week later, meet them again, have a chat, and so on. And that's the way I tend to do it. And it's my preference to know someone before it goes any further. I just like that. I think it's more like real and not professional. You know what I mean? But I have tried dating apps. I've tried them and they don't work for me. But a lot of guys swear by them and say absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love the dating apps. It's like 1,500 baht or whatever, and no lady drinks, no bar fine. Fine, absolutely fine. If that's your thing, then absolutely fine, go for it. But it isn't my thing. But I mean, it depends what you like. Uh, it's all really. You can, if you're careful, if you listen to videos like this and other people, you get to learn where is you get value for money. Okay, that's the most important thing that a lot of you complained about, like frightened off with the last video. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you off. I just think you should know, you should understand. So you've got gents clubs, okay, and there are more and more of them all over the place. You've got Soy 6. If you want to know what's available on Soy 6, just look at Patreon. Don't join. I'm not asking you to join. What I'm saying is the first minute or so of all of those uncut Soy 6 videos you can watch for free. So it shows you what's available. Yeah. So that's Soy 6, and then you've got Soy Pothole, which again is similar to Soy 6, so not as intense, but nowhere near the numbers, but similar in many respects. And then of course you've got dating apps, and I mean the last thing of course is freelancers in the nightclubs. I mean that's another thing which I did mention in the last video. I mean there are certain clubs like there's Insomnia, there's Mist, there's Republic, which I think is the best one personally, which has tremendous choice, but it tends to be a little bit of a younger crowd, really. Most of the guys in there, and are a sort of look under 40. You do get the odd one, the other odd guy who still goes, who's over, but most tend to be younger or look. So if you're young or if you look under 40, by all means go to Republic, Insomnia, Mist, all the rest of them, and you'll find that it's again very good, very cheap. The drinks are expensive for everybody, not just the girls, not just the lady drinks. There are no lady drinks; they're just simply drinks, but they are expensive. But you don't have to have a lot. You can buy a bottle, as I said before. So that's the choices you've got for a cheaper option to Pattaya. So I hope I've tried to balance it out now with regard to that, as opposed to the previous video about how expensive it was. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, like, share, ring the bell, and I'll see you on the next video.